Hey guys, my name is Ashley Kerkes and I am a Cadis professional design team member. I'm coming to you live from my studio with Marlo Beauty to show you a really simple color melting technique that you can use on your blonde clients that you're trying to transition into a little bit of a shadow rooted look. So what I love about this technique is that I work in the studio full-time. I'm a full-time stylist, and I know that I watch a lot of Instagram videos, and I know that we don't have as much time in the salon as a lot of other stylists do. So what I wanted to do was come up with a technique, because here at Kadus Professional, we like to work smarter, not harder. So I want to take something that we all know, which is a traditional 4-quadrant highlight, and place a color melting technique on top. So what I want to show you guys first is sectioning. I think what happens with a lot of people is they're using a clip to section. You're not getting a clean section, you're using a rat tail comb. My best way that I have found how to section this hair is you take your comb on its side, and wherever you want to go, you place your finger. No matter what, that comb will always go to that finger, and you're going to get that clean sectioning. I've been playing around with this technique, trying to perfect the right color melts for my clients every day. And I wanted to come up with something that we already know and we already use all the time. So we're going to take a really traditional highlight placement on a 4-quadrant mannequin and then place a color melting technique on top of it. So I'm going to show you guys that today, and I'm super excited to do so. So what I'm going to use is the Kadus Professional Blonding Powder. You're going to get up to 7 levels of lift. It has moisture binding lipids, so what that's going to do is it's going to keep your client's hair really healthy. When I'm foiling, I don't use anything over 20 volume. 20 volume is going to get you that nice slow and low lift. You're going to take the time. You're going to keep the integrity of the hair. So the way that I like to mix them is 1 to 1.5 is the ratio that I use. So 1 parts of the Kadus blonding powder to 1.5 parts of the 20 volume. So I have that over here, and I haven't mixed it yet because I just want to show you guys the consistency when you mix the developer with the lightener. So when you're mixing your lightener, you are incorporating. You are not trying to make a meringue. You don't need to whip it into submission. Good. I just said that on live video. So we are going to mix that and set this over here. So I have already pre-rooted this mannequin here. So what this technique is going to do is it's going to help blend away that line of demarcation from our client's hair growing out. So the way that we're going to place the foils, and I'll turn her around really quick so that you guys can see, we're going to put the foils in a diagonal pattern. So if we're trying to break up a straight line from where the new growth is going, if we go in and we're doing straight lines of highlights, you're not going to get any blending out of that. So I'm going to start on this back section. I pre-did the front section just so you guys could see the direction, but when I'm doing my highlights, I traditionally start in the back. My reasoning for that is not everybody can get a full highlight done in 45 minutes or an hour, whatever your timing is for your full highlights. So I like to start in the back. So if this starts to process and this is done processing before the front is, you can pull these highlights out and you're able to shampoo the back of her head and let the front continue to process. Another trick I have when I'm doing highlights is I like to use a rat tail comb, but a metal rat tail comb. My reasoning is you're able to get a smaller section and you're able to get that comb right up to the base of the hair. If you're taking a plastic rat tail comb, you're not getting that foil all the way up to that hairline, and you really want to get these foils up to the hairline because that's what's going to break up this line here. What's nice is with the Kadus blonding powder is it doesn't swell, so you're not going to get those bleed marks, and you can take your lightener all the way up to the top of the line. So this technique is a combination of slices and weaves. It's something that we all know how to do. Let me turn this so you guys can see it a little bit better in the light. I'm going to face out this way. So your first section is going to be a slice, okay? Take your foil, and like I said, this is just a really traditional highlight. Make sure that it's all the way up to the line. And you take that lightener and you just paint it all the way up to the top of that foil. And then you bring it down into where the line of demarcation is from where your client's color is starting to grow out. You're gonna take the foil, fold it up, and I never press the edges. You want that lightener to be able to breathe. It needs that oxygen to process, to be able to get all that lift and control. So to finish out this section, if you guys can see, I'm never putting my comb down. We get so used to palming our shears because it saves time instead of setting down over and over again, that if we can practice and learn how to palm our rat tails too, it saves us a ton of time. So this technique is kind of marrying a lot of stuff that I see on Instagram. And the reason that I wanted to show it to you guys is because I've been playing around with it more and more with my clients and really trying to figure out the best way to start blending that line at the top of their hair and be able to get them into that color melting technique. And I really wanted to show you guys this video because we have 30 minutes and I can really explain it. I can really answer your questions. I use this all the time in my own studio. I'm exclusively Cadis in my studio. And it's not just because I work for them, but because I honestly trust and really rely on the products. Put you there. So guys, if you have any questions, I really do want you to start asking them. Let me know. We have people here answering questions. I want to answer your questions live. The way that I really like to teach my classes, I don't just want to show you something. I don't want to sound like I'm a robot in this situation and I'm just giving you verbiage and information. I want you to learn the best out of this technique that you can. So since we were following the hairline up the back on both sides, we're also going to follow the hairline on the front of the hair. So we're going to be going diagonally up the hair. So again, to be a combination of slices and weaves. And I like the 20 volume, and I mix in small batches. So I really only ever do 20 grams of lightener at a time to 30 grams of the developer. The reason I do that is because over time that lightening powder is going to start losing its power. So if we're mixing in small batches, it's processing all at about the same time. We're keeping the same processing power the whole way up. And this is something that, you know, depending on how you book, if you book on the 45s, you can get this highlight put in that 45 minutes and then be able to let them process the full 45 minutes as well. We're not taking 6 hours and 7,000 different sections and teases and weaves. It's just slice and weave and going at that angle to break up that straight line. What I really like about the Kadus Professional is that it's consistent. The color's consistent, the lightener is consistent, and you're gonna love it. I just want you guys to try it. And I'm excited for you guys to try this technique. It looks super crazy when you're shampooing because you can really see all the lines at the top. And I'll show you on my next mannequin when I start actually getting into the color melt technique. But I promise you, if you follow what I'm saying and you take my advice, you'll be able to blend that away and your clients are gonna love it. What's really great about this technique, I love balayage, I really do. It's a beautiful sweeping motion, but those clients are only coming back every 6 months to a year. So the client retention on them is low. With this technique, your clients are able to wait until their 8-week haircut. And they can come back in and you're able to color melt on top of what you already have done and eventually start being able to use their own base in the process. All right, we're not smushing foils, we're just closing them nicely to keep them where they need to be. So then you continue this section up to the top, okay? and you end with this little triangle, will be left out, and it's left out on every section so that you really kind of start the top of that shadow root and you don't have lines all the way up to the top. So after she's processed, and this can process for 45 to 50 minutes, what I do is use the Cadus Visible Repair shampoo. So it has Radiolux ion technology. When hair is lightened, when it's damaged, it becomes positively charged. The ions in this are negatively charged. So what they do is they really just attract themselves to all of the holes in the hair, and you can tell. See, look, oh, look at, that's a sad hair. That's a happy hair. So you shampoo with this. Don't laugh at me. So we shampoo with this. Rinse it out, and then instead of conditioner, I use the Color Vibrancy post-color treatment, okay? This is pH at a 3.5. So what this is gonna do, and you use it root to ends, this is going to even out your porosity and your pH on the hair so that you're gonna get a clean canvas for your color melt. You don't want it to grab too much where you just did the lightening because that cuticle is all open and ready to take all that color. You don't want it to overcolor. You want it to be a nice smooth transition. So this is gonna help even out your pH.
Hey Ashley, I have a question.
Yes, Amanda.
I have a question from Chelsea.
All right, Chelsea.
She wants to know, how short of hair can you do a color melt on?
With the technique that I'm showing you, you can do a color melt on, I think the shortest hair that I have done has probably been like a chin length bob. You want to have enough space so that you can tell that it's kind of darker, medium, light. I think like a pixie is going to be too short. I'd say like chin length bob is going to be your best bet for this particular technique. So what I would do with my clients, and why I love this swatch book, and this is my swatch book, by the way, that's why it looks like it's been eaten, because if you're not opening your swatch book for every single client and checking their undertones and the underlying pigments and really formulating based on this, and you're just kind of grabbing boxes because of what color they say, you're doing a disservice to yourself and you're doing a disservice to your client. You really want to customize the color to your clients. What I love the most about this is that you have this underlying pigment wheel, all right? So this is your natural level, and then these are the underlying pigments. It's a great tool for you to be able to go to your clients. You can take it right out of the back of the book and set it on their scalp and be able to check their base color on the front, on the back. It's also a really nice tool when you have somebody coming in that has a level 3 hair and wants to be white blonde the first time they're here. You can kind of show them that they're gonna have to go through those orange phases. Let me stick that back on. It's a nice little magnet. Like I said, use this tool. That's what it's there for. You have the color wheel, primary, secondary colors. Like, this is all very common knowledge for hairstylists. We all learn this. I think that over time we get so used to our jobs that we forget to refer back to our color book and the color wheel, okay? So let's get into color melting technique. So I'm only gonna do it on this front left quadrant. But you guys can see, I went through and based her out and highlighted her. I think I've done 3 full highlights today, so you guys are welcome. The tools that I like to use are, I like 2 different brushes. It only takes you 1 time of mixing up which color is the dark, medium, the light to really pick out what brushes you're going to use. So I use 1 brush for my dark, which is going to be my base color. My middle tone is going to be my squirt bottle. And then my lightest is also going to be brushed in, okay? So let me throw some gloves on. But first she wants to show you my shoes while I'm putting these gloves on. I'm super fancy. I'm not tall enough, so I have to add like a good 3 inches with my shoes and then another 5 inches with my hair most of the time. So we have the brushes, the bowls, the bottle. Any sort of like wet detangling brush, wide tooth comb is gonna work for this. The main point is to just keep blending. Think about how much time you spend blending your contour, right? We want cheekbones, but we don't want to see the line of the cheekbone. So if you're spending 20 minutes blending your contour, spend some time blending your color melts. So I always start at the top. So she's damp, she's been post-color treated, and we leave her with damp hair, just slightly towel dried. And take the base color. And what I really like to do is I have a visual line. And this is all going to go into the consultation of how far you want that shadow root to go, or the darkest part of your hair. So I usually start, and I have a line like this so that it gets darker as it goes into the back. So since we are trying to break up lines, we're going to go in at an angle.
Hey Ashley, we have a question.
Hey Amanda, what's your question?
Can you do a color melt with vivid colors, or is it just geared towards blondes?
No, you can absolutely do a color melt with vivid colors. It just ends up being more of a prep than what this is. Because if you're going to be using vivid colors, you really want that good, clean, blonde canvas most of the time. Unless you're getting into, let me drop this down a little bit. Unless you're getting into like purples and pinks, which really only have to be put on, well, like level 8. If you're trying to get into blues, greens, that sort of vivid color, you're going to need them blonde. So it's just going to be a different prep than what this is. This technique is really for kind of getting that shadow-based effect on your highlighted clients. One thing I like to do too is, if I'm trying to convince a client into this, if she doesn't want to have to come in for her highlights all the time, I let her know, you know what, we're going to try this time. If you decide that you don't like it, come back in the next time and we'll do highlights again. And it's fine, but at least we can try. And 9 times out of 10, the clients love it.
So Ashley.
So Amanda.
Can you tell me what colors you're using again?
Okay, so the colors that I'm using, and these are the same colors that I used on my model. My model has a natural level 6 base. So the colors that I picked for my model today, the root, the base color, the darkest, is a 5N and a 5A. Those are both permanent colors. We only have the ash in permanent. But what I like to do, and what we like to show, is that you can do a pastel tone with a permanent color. So what that really means is that you are taking a permanent color and mixing it 1 to 2 with one of our demi developers. So you're going to get a little bit more of a sheer effect, which is kind of nice, because then all of those highlights that we've put in, you're going to be getting dimension, and it's not going to be just a flat base color. If you have a client that only has, a 1/2 inch of new growth, you don't even have to go in and do the highlight portion. You could start with the color melting technique. And what you're going to want to do is, if you're color melting somebody, shampoo them first, post color treat, so that you're evening out the porosity. All right, so right now I've gone through and I've based this entire section. So I'm going to take my brush and kind of start to comb down and really start to blend that line. The trick is, and this is what I found, I used to put the medium color on, and then I would end up with only a little bit of light at the end. So I actually take my light color first and paint it up and really work it in. Use the fingers. And then I'll place my palm underneath, and I'll take my color bottle. And when you're mixing your color in a bottle, I don't like permanent in a bottle. I like demi, because our demi is so creamy since it's mixed 1 to 2. And you squirt it on the section and really work it in. When you are mixing in the bottle though, shake it, all right? You have to want it. That's what I told my model today. I said, if you really, really, really want this color mixed in this bottle, you have to want it. And then you comb, you brush with your detangling brush, with your wide tooth comb, whatever your weapon of choice is, that's where you go. Take the next section. You don't have to do super fine sections, because the hair is wet and the color is going to work its way in anyways. Excuse me, lady, that needs to stay up there. And then you go in again with your lightest color throughout the ends. Oh, we were talking about formulas. So the base was 5N and 5A, and then I got myself off track, because that's who I am as a person, to tell you guys about pastel toning. The mid-tone is demi, and it is a 7N with 8BA. So when I'm picking my colors for my color melt, I like to stay within 2 levels of whatever the natural base is. That way you're not getting that really big line of demarcation when their hair starts growing in. You're not going to take somebody who's a natural level 8 and put a level 5 base on them, because then their hair is going to look like it's floating by the time they get back to you. So I would stick within 2 levels of their natural color. And you're going to find that by using the natural level finder in your swatch book. So you continue up the section. The big key is the blending. So you guys can see that I'm blending with my hands, blending, blending, blending. Once you finish the section, you're gonna take your brush, or finish the section, and then once you're finished with everything, and you're just gonna sit and you're gonna brush and brush and brush. And what that's doing is that's marrying those colors. So if this is a 5 and this is in like the 7, 8 area, you're gonna start getting a 6 here. This is gonna start turning into more of an 8, and then you have the 9 at the ends. The end color is a 9 golden violet. And don't let the golden violet part scare you, because what that's really doing, especially if you're working on a clean 9 or 10 canvas, what ends up happening is that color starts to grab and it gets drab. So that gold's gonna help fill in, and then that violet comes in and really just kicks it. And you guys can see that I'm just sitting here, and this is what I'll do on the entire client's head the whole time it's processing. This is gonna process for 15 minutes. All right, 15, 20 minutes. The heat from their head is processing this color up here. We usually just slap a toner on and have them sit here, and this color isn't getting any heat and it's getting colder. So if you're keeping your hands on it, you're keeping it blended and you're processing it. So after 15, 20 minutes, this gets rinsed because you've already shampooed her, so she doesn't need to be shampooed again. And then I go back in again with the post-color treatment. What that's gonna do is that's gonna help snap that cuticle shut, okay? It's gonna help keep your color and keep that longevity in there.
Ashley, can you tell me the formula one more time? We have a few people that didn't catch it the first time.
Yes. So your base color is a 5N and a 5A. So I did 20 grams of 5N to 10 grams of 5A, melted into our demi. So this was pastel toned. So it's 1 to 2 with a demi developers. I used a 13 volume, so I got more of an intense deposit. The midsection here is going to be a 7N and an 8 brown ash, the 8BA. The ends are 9 golden violet. So the mid and the ends are both going to be a demi. Okay? Do we have any other questions while my lovely model comes out?
Yes, I have a few.
All right, hit me.
Can you tell me if you can do a color melt with toners or demi-permanents all through the whole process?
100%. If you're going darker, we always recommend to use a demi. If you're using a permanent and you're going darker, all you're doing is you're lifting the hair and you're exposing that little bit of underlying pigment that you don't need to expose. So if you can, do demi the whole time. It's beautiful, it's shiny, you're gonna get color to the core, and it's gonna blend really well. And our demis last for 30 shampoos. Amanda, looking at you?
Yes.
Yes, 30 shampoos. What other questions do you have?
How much do you charge for this service?
Okay. Big question, right? Because if we're sitting here and we're watching Instagram stylists and we know that they're booking out for 6 hours and charging $600, I'm in my own studio space. I'm in Michigan. I'm not going to get somebody to spend that much money. So when I'm doing this service, I charge $150. I base it around the same price as my balayage. What's nice, though, is that after your clients have spent that money to get the full highlights and the color melt, when they're coming back for those retouches in 8 weeks along with a haircut, all they have to spend is, I usually take whatever my all-over color is and then add like $10 for each extra bowl. So they're maybe spending $80 to get the color melt redone, and then that'll last them. And you're able to do the color melt a couple different times before you have to go through and do the full highlight and the full service again. Any other questions, Amanda?
Yes.
Yes.
So if we're not doing this on a blonde, I guess what helps make you decide which colors to use for the melt?
Swatch book. Talk to your client. Do a consultation. Have them bring in pictures. Pinterest is amazing, but it's also terrible for us because that's when our clients are seeing those white icy blondes and they want this Pinterest perfect hair. Have your clients bring in more than one picture. And then sit with that client, do a full consultation, figure out what's on their hair, what their goal is, and then you're able to kind of look at their pictures and figure out what it is that they're seeing and that they're liking, and then you go from there. So if you're doing it on a brunette, you can go through and do the full highlight and then melt brunette tones on it. I have a client that wears reds beautifully, so I start off with like a 5 on her root into a 7 red and then into like a 9 or a 10 end. So you can do it on all different colors. It's just a matter of the consultation and how you want your canvas to be. I think that this particular look is going to be more for the one that I'm showing you today. It's going to be more based on your blondes, but you can use the color melting technique for any situation. We're good?
Yeah.
All right, guys. So this is my lovely, lovely model, Miss Felicia. What I want to show you guys is not only how gorgeous this color turned out. So we'll say formula again. 5N and 5A. Permanent color, but pastel toned with a 13 volume developer, so 1 to 2. This is going to be your 8 brown ash and your 7N. And then the ends are the 9 golden violet. And I'm really excited to show this to you guys because I don't want you to think, oh gosh, golden violet, they're going to think that their hair is yellow. There is nothing yellow about what's happening in her hair. All right? So after you have this lovely color melt in, you know that all of our clients want to leave Pinterest perfect. And I think one thing that ends up happening is with our clients, we get so used to showing them or just curling their hair and styling it so that we can get our pictures that we forget to tell them how to do it. So what I did with Miss Felicia after we shampooed, blow dried, color melted, all of the fun things, her hair was prepped with velvet oil and frizz down. That is my prep for every client every single time. What the velvet oil is going to do is it is going to go in and it's going to help speed up your blow dry time. And I'm going to use this analogy that only works in Midwest states, mostly in Michigan because of the potholes. If you think of hair as a pothole road and it rains, okay? The velvet oil will go in and it fills up those holes and helps to start push out the water. So then you start speeding up your blow dry time. And then I go in with my frizz down. And what that's going to do is the hold on it is not so much a product hold. It's more of a hold on the cuticle layer of the hair so that it helps prevent frizz. So after we did that, I blow dried her. And then I used the Dramatize It mousse on her hair dry and then blow dried that in as well to give her a little bit of texture. You guys can see I'm just taking my, oh, you guys have to look at this. This Hot Tools Professional, this new curling iron that I was just brought to because it's amazing and it's beautiful. So what you want to do is you're just going to be taking sections. And while you're doing this, tell your clients. My poor clients have learned more about their hair and how to style their hair than I think that they ever cared to. But that's okay because it really shows that you care and it really shows that you're interested in your craft. So your clients are going to be able to do this with a curling iron that they already have, or if they have a wand, they can do the same look. They don't need to go out and buy new tools. It's just a matter of figuring out what tools your client has and teaching them how to use it. So I'm taking my sections. You see I put a little bit of a twist in them. That's what's really going to give you that beach wave look. One thing I always tell my clients, especially if they're blonde like how Felicia is on the ends, you want to start at the top. The top of the hair is going to be able to take more heat than the ends. So it's okay that it's sitting up on this top section longer than it is on the bottom. And after you've curled the section, let it sit and don't touch it. I'm going to go in here and touch up a couple more of these. So again, take your section. If you're using a wand, you don't have to open it. If you're using a curling iron, I like to open it. You wrap it around. If you flat wrap it, you're going to be making your clients look like Shirley Temple. And let's be honest, only Shirley Temple should look like Shirley Temple. Amanda, are there any more questions while I'm playing this?
Yes, I do have one application question for you.
I have an application answer for you.
So when you're not just doing one section at a time on a real life person, would you apply the scalp color and the mid shaft and then the ends all in one, like all at once, or would you do one section at a time?
I like to work in one section at a time. I think that with the way that I place the highlights where it's in the quadrants and then going back through the same quadrants and doing it, it's going to give you consistency. You're going to be able to go through those same sections and find those highlights. And so I think that you're going to be able to get more consistency and more blending if you take your time to put that base on, let it kind of start to process, comb it down, and then start with the ends and then the mid shaft. Only because, like I've said, I've been playing with this technique for a while and I've been trying to figure out the best way to do it. And putting the ends on before you put the mid-tone on is really going to be able to keep your blonde, the lightest part, up higher, and you're not dragging that darker color down too far into it. One thing I love about the Cadis Professional though is the color, the technology in the color. So they're called Vitaflexion microspheres. And if you guys want to try to say that 3 times fast, you are more than welcome. Do I happen to have it written on a cue card? Absolutely, because I knew I was going to flub it up if I tried to say it too quickly. So what the Vitaflexion microspheres are is take another color company. You have it, your hair is like a, hold on, I'm going to finish this curl and then I'm going to do hand demonstrations because I talk with my hands.
I have another question for you, dear.
I have another answer and then I'll get back to Vitaflexion microspheres.
Okay. So if you have a client that needs full gray coverage, how would you balance the new growth out?
I would be, if I have a client that has the full gray coverage, I would go through and on the wet hair, I would use 20 volume with a permanent color as opposed to doing the pastel toning with the permanent color. So that you get that 20 volume, it's going to give you 100% gray coverage in 30 minutes. All right, let me brush this out really quick. And then since I digressed, I'm going to get back to my Vitaflexion microspheres spiel because you guys have to know it. It's amazing. So, hair shaft, right? Cylinder. Most color companies, their color molecules are going to be about the size of like a ping pong ball. You can fill it in, you're still going to fill up that cylinder, but they're really easy to get back out. What Kadus Professional has done is our molecules are like a marble, filling up that same cylinder size. So once they start to activate, they actually start to link up. So you're able to fit a lot more molecules into the hair shaft with Kadus Professional as opposed to another color company. So then that's how you get that really good shine and you get that color lasting. Look at that. Oh, Felicia, you look so pretty. Look at that color, guys. Amanda, throw me some more questions. I want to know what these people are thinking. I want to know what they want to learn.
Well, people are so excited about finding out more about this line. What kind of comparison charts do we have to help them switch lines?
Oh, perfect. So if you guys like, so I'm more going through techniques as opposed to going into full product knowledge class. If you guys want product knowledge, if you guys want to learn more about the color, find conversion charts, ask an expert, download the Kadus Professional app. You can get it on the iPhone or on Android. So it's Kadus Professional. There's Ask the Experts. There are videos, live chats, anything that you could possibly need to want to learn more. You can pop on and find all of that information. I know it was a quick half hour, guys. I had fun. I hope you guys learned a little bit of something. This video will be posted. You guys will be able to watch it as many times as you want. I'm going to pop on as soon as I sign off and try to answer some questions myself. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Pop over to Marlo Beauty, watch the video, learn some stuff, get yourself some Cadis, and I will see you guys later. Thank you. Bye.